Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome back to my channel, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet because as you can tell, my voice is totally wrecked right now. The cold is working its way through our house. But I wanted to share my cards for the 10 on the 10th card collab, and that is hosted by Kim, who is Metal Scrappin' Chick here on YouTube. And each month on the 10th of the month, we share some Christmas cards that we've made. And the point is to make them throughout the year so that come Christmas time, you don't have to spend the time making the cards. You can actually get them out at a decent time, because if you're like me, you don't get them finished until like that week before Christmas, and everybody gets you're really pushing the wire. So anyway, I just wanted to share the cards I made for you today. And for this month, I used the Save Freeze 6x6 pad from Craftsmith. It was a 6x6 Michaels pad, and I think I picked it up after Christmas last year on clearance for $3.59 is what I say I paid for it. And I was using that for the Smash That Small Pad collaboration that will be shared later this month. And so then I mainly used the cut-aparts that were in the pad to embellish and use as sentiments on my cards. But then I also did pull in a few of these Stickability stickers, the wreaths from Hobby Lobby, and then a few of the Here Comes Santa Claus puffy stickers from Echo Park. And like I said, I tried to focus on the cut-aparts. There were several different sheets of cut-aparts in the pad, in different sizes, different shapes. And so I kind of kept the same card layout for all of the cards. I picked a couple of papers of patterns that were more of a solid, or that could act as a solid for me to work as my card mat. And then when I cut those down, that created a strip that was just shy of 2 inches from the 6x6 pad. And so I tried to focus on using that card mat piece and that strip together on the card. So I was using up the strips as I went. And then I started with the bigger cut apart. So there was this snowman, and it was actually part of a whole 6x6 image. And I just cut out the snowman here from the corner. There were snowflakes, I think, that went all the way up, and snow that went across the bottom. So I just focused on him here on the bottom right corner, and then the Just Chillin' was also another cut apart in the pad. And so I just kind of grouped those together on a piece of white cardstock mat to make it look like one big focal image. And for most of these cards, I do have 2 of the same cards, because there were 2 of the same sheets, 2 of the same patterns in the pad. So this next one, this is 2 smaller cut aparts that I just grouped together on a white cardstock oval that I die cut. But again, here I have a more of a solid or neutral mat, and then this was what was left. I think it was actually the back side of one of the cut aparts pages. And then I just took a strip of this plaid to go across the middle, just to bring it a little bit more interest on the card. Same thing here. This one was a cut apart, a rectangle cut apart that I fussy cut down to just follow the frame of the little fancy label shape there. And then again, I was trying to use up the scraps as I go. And so I picked up this little bitty black strip that was on my desk and kind of fishtailed it just so it kind of pulled in. It's black, but it almost looks like the same color as his scarf there. But it just brought a little deeper color to help ground the card, I think. So here's another cut apart, and this time I used the plaid. It's not really a solid, but it's not a horribly busy pattern either, so I figured that would make a good card mat, the black strip. And then here I pulled in a wreath down here just at the bottom, just to kind of help balance out the cut apart there, and it was using some strips as well. And all throughout, I did just throw in some of the scraps that I had left on the insides of the cards as well. So once I made it through all of the full sheets I could with that design, then I started piecing some smaller scraps together. So here's 2 of the strips left that I had from cutting down the card mats or from Like these are the back sides, I think, of some of the papers. This one I used as a card mat. This was the back side maybe of one of the cut apart pages. I'm not sure. And then I did cover the seam here down the middle with another small strip of pattern paper that I had. I have a cut apart that I double matted on white and black, and then just to balance out the black, I just put a cardstock strip that left that I had that down there. And this one I did 2 different pieces. I think these were the back of some of the cut apart pages. And so I have like a smaller piece up here and then a bigger piece down here, and again I covered the seam with the strip scrap that I had left. And Merry Christmas was actually a sentiment that I had printed out from my silhouette a while back when I was making some other Christmas cards, so it was just left, and it was already sitting on my desk in my little sentiment basket. I backed it on the back side of one of, I think that was what the snowman was sitting on from the very first card, and so you can see some of the snowflakes, but it's still more of a solid, and then pulled in another little strip of that down here at the bottom. And then at the last 2 I only have 1 each of, and that was because this was 2 separate strips, and you can hardly tell that at all. The way they went together, I was at least able to match up kind of the pattern a little bit. And it really looks like it's all one solid piece, which is awesome. But I did piece 2 strips together and just kind of scooted them together and left the sides, you know, open on the outer edge of the card. And then again, here's the Merry Christmas, and I just backed it on, I trimmed it into more of a rectangle instead of a square so that it could fit on this little scrap of the black check, buffalo check that I had left. And then it pieced 2 little scraps together down here at the bottom to balance it out. And I totally thought I was done, and I went through all the scraps and put them on the insides of the cards, and then realized that I still had some scraps left. And if you know me, you know I can't just let that go. So I took I had several that were close, and they were the same width. I think these were some long strips that I had, and they were the same width, and so I just cut them down, you know, to the same length, and then pieced them together on some white cardstock, and then dug through my cardstock scrap stash and found a green piece. It's not necessarily the green I would probably choose to use, but it was a scrap, so I didn't have to cut into another green piece for this last card. So it's like a darker green than I would have used, but I found a green scrap and then a red scrap that was big enough to be a card mat. So I was like, awesome. The season's greetings also came from my silhouette that it was already on my desk, something I had printed out before. And then I had a couple of really small pieces left of this poinsettia paper. And so I just fussy cut out, I was able to fussy cut out like 1 whole poinsettia from one of the scraps. And so I just went ahead and took advantage of that, fussy cut that out and put it on my card. And so then I only had like 1 tiny scrap left to throw away. And you'll see later in the month when I show my Smash That Small pad, I didn't have many scraps at all left from this. So this was an awesome way to go. There are a couple of people who kind of provided inspiration to this. Just Crafts here on YouTube. She's always done 6x6 paper pad tutorials, kind of like Christy Marcotte, but lately she's been trying to use up her scraps as she goes, so she's not left with a whole bunch of scraps to use at the end. And Letty, who is Party Planner Papery here on YouTube, she also does a lot of, like, she'll take a 6x6 pad or a 12x12 collection, and she'll come up with one design and just use up the whole collection using that same card design. So I kind of combine inspiration from the 2 of those awesome crafters to work through this pad on making some cards. And so for the 10 on the 10th, I did end up making 14 cards from this pad, and then I also have some other projects that I'll share at the end of this month. But here are 14 more Christmas cards that I could add to my donation stash for. These are going to be going to Cards for Soldiers and then my dad's nursing home at Christmas. So that is my cards for today. Please be sure to check out the list of other awesome ladies who are participating in this collaboration. Their links Their channel links will be listed in the description box below, so please be sure to check them out and see the cards that they made this month as well. But thank you guys so much for joining me today and for putting up with this awful voice. Hopefully next time I will be back to normal, but I hope you're all having a wonderfully crafty day.